What's it like being depressed?
I don't know. It feels like you don't remember what better feels like. And then you do things that you think will make you feel better, but they don't. They make it worse. And the things that I'm really scared of doing are probably the things that will help me the most, but I just can't do them.
I have trouble sleeping at night. I have bad dreams like I'm falling. Wake up scared. Sometimes it takes me a while to remember where I am.
You know, I'm not going to pretend that I know what's going on in the mind of a teenager. All I'm saying is Kyle made a mistake. If you're that depressed, reach out to someone. And remember, suicide is a permanent solution to temporary problems.
Imagine that because you don't have a mate and you don't have any friends and you don't have a job and you don't do anything productive with your time, etc., that you're kind of a loser. And what does that mean? It means compared to other people, you're not doing very well. Hyper-competent people have their lives together on all those fronts and they're thriving in all those domains. And you are at the bottom of the hierarchy where everything has fallen apart and you're barely clinging to the edge of the world. There's a mechanism that sets your perceived security and utility, a marker for that. The lower you are in the hierarchy, which is the more unstable your life is, the less serotonin your brain produces, and that makes you hypersensitive to negative emotion and suppresses positive emotion. And so true depression, which isn't having a terrible life, true depression would be a mismatch between your actual competence and your self-perceived competence.
And I wanted to understand this because of a more personal mystery. When I was a teenager, I remember going to my doctor and explaining that I had this feeling like pain was leaking out of me. I couldn't control it. I didn't understand why it was happening. I felt quite ashamed of it. And my doctor told me a story that I now realize was well-intentioned, but quite oversimplified. Not totally wrong. My doctor said, well, we know why people get like this. Some people just naturally get a chemical imbalance in their heads. You're clearly one of them. All we need to do is give you some drugs, it'll get your chemical balance back to normal. So I started taking a drug called Paxil or Seroxat. It's the same thing with different names in different countries. And I felt much better. I got a real boost. But not very long afterwards, this feeling of pain started to come back. So I was given higher and higher doses until for 13 years I was taking the maximum possible dose that you're legally allowed to take. And for a lot of those 13 years, and pretty much all the time by the end, I was still in a lot of pain. And I started asking myself, well, what's going on here? Because you're doing everything you're told to do by the story that's dominating the culture. Why do you still feel like this?
I rarely remember my dreams anymore. It's something I actually think about a lot, but
yeah, it's crap. Why are we here? I don't care. Why am I here? What am I doing? Why aren't I gone? I feel this swell of hope, and then it's taken away.
day after day that can be wearing, and
Yeah, you can be the most brilliant guy in the world and still be upset and, still not handling life very well.
yeah,
I mean, an atheist suddenly finds himself walking around after death. He's got some serious reevaluating to do.
I think it's about, I always say it's about a lot of people's lives, but it's about a man's life.
And where's God in this equation? Because he made this.
Yes, it's definite.
Why would you do that? Why would you give us this? This is it? Where is God? Where are you? Why don't you say something? This is like a jail. That wall. That wall. That wall. That wall. Yeah. That wall. That wall. None of this works.
I think everyone felt that way that I know that I talked to. Ultimately, everyone is the lead in their own story. And then eventually life ends. And all those questions arise during that time.
Maybe that's why I'm here. I'm constantly looking for some kind of answer.
Yeah. Ultimately, you never get there, and you never really do figure it out, and you never really get the answer, and are you ever really fulfilled? And are you?
I'm a man. You're not the cure.
Days go on and on. And they don't end. All my life needed was a sense of someplace to go. I don't believe that one should devote his life to morbid self-attention. I believe that someone should become a person like other people.
Get out of here! Well, you fucked up, all right? So what? So everybody does it. Get on with your life, would you? What life? I got no life! I'm in the dark here! You understand? I'm in the dark!
The one thing, like people talk about depression all the time, the difference between depression and sadness is just, from happenstance, whatever happened or didn't happen for you. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore.
The other thing about depression is it kind of collapses time. Suddenly, you find your whole days blending together to create one endless and suffocating loop. So you find yourself trying to remember the things that made you happy.
There's a voice, and it's a little quiet voice that goes, Chop. It's the same voice. The same voice goes, just one. There's a voice that goes, Chop. And the idea of just one. And for someone who has no tolerance for it, that's not a possibility.
How long before you decided this is it?
I don't know. It was a couple of years of just thinking I can do it on my own, and you can't. That's the bottom line. I can do this, I can stop. And you really think you can, and then you realize, I need help. And that's the operative word. You don't know about real loss, because that only occurs when you love something more than you love yourself. I doubt you've ever dared to love anybody that much.
Are you depressed? Or do you have a terrible life? Or is it some combination of the two? So if you're depressed, as far as I can tell, you don't have a terrible life. You have friends, you have family, you have an intimate relationship, you have a job or a career, you're about as educated as you should be given your intelligence, you use your time outside of work wisely, you're not beholden to alcohol or other temptations. You're engaged in the community in some fundamental sense, and all that's working. Now, if you have all that and you're feeling really awful, you're either ill or you're depressed.
What is wrong with you? Do you hate us?
No, I don't hate you. I hate me. I hate me, okay? I hate me, okay? I hate me. I hate me. I hate me. You understand? I hate me.
I have been so lost. I've been losing my mind. And you don't even see it. You don't even care.
What you're going through is very painful, I know that.
You get stabbed in the ribs. That's painful. This shit, I don't feel nothing. Nothing. Dead. Empty.
Life is pain. I wake up every morning, I'm in pain. I go to work in pain. You know how many times I wanted to just give up? How many times I've thought about ending it?
Sometimes I think I'm just not good for people. You know, that's not good for them to be around me. You know, I wear them down. You know, they get unhappy.
I think there are times when people are so depressed that there isn't anything that anyone can do. You know, and the depressed person thinks, and this is probably the worst part of it, the depressed person thinks, everywhere I look, it's nothing but catastrophe. I can't see any way out of it. I can't see any path forward whatsoever. And then they think as well, and maybe it's the combination of these two thoughts that really make people suicidal. It's like, it's hopeless. It isn't going to get any better. No matter where I turn, there's no escape. The suffering is unbearable. And I'm absolutely no use whatsoever to anyone. It would be better for everyone if I was just gone. If I'm not so much of a burden now that it's going to destroy their life, then I'm going to be that much of a burden in the future. And so it's hard to imagine what that's like for people, but it's dreadful. And there's lots of ways you get there.
I'm just tired of being scared all the time, not knowing why. I'm tired of trying to change and not knowing how. You know, leaving my latest.
Okay, no one else is gonna save my life, right? If I just sit here and diddle around, what am I gonna have? Nothing. Okay? And all this shit, like, what does it matter? What does it matter? It just passes. Yo, if I disappear, like, who cares? Nobody cares, man. Seriously. Yo, and that's okay. That's life.